Godzilla, King of the Monsters is a sequel to both the 2014 reboot of Godzilla and 2017's Vietnam-era King Kong reimagining Kong Skull Island, nominally tied together by the presence of vaguely defined giant monster research organization Monarch, who were a major presence in Skull Island but whom you probably don't remember from Godzilla because they didn't really figure into the last 10 to 15 minutes, and that's the only part of that dreary, boring slog of a movie worth remembering. Either way, the only thing you'd need to remember is that they were basically S.H.I.E.L.D. but for giant monsters, and Ken Watanabe's Dr. Serizawa was with them. He was the let them fight guy.
Let them fight.
Yeah, I don't know why anyone would decide to make a boring movie about a giant radioactive dinosaur either. Like, I know the first Godzilla back in the 50s was a serious movie all about using monster movie tropes as a metaphor for the horrors of the nuclear age and the existential panic of Japan in the uncertain post-World War II Showa era, but they did like 25 or more movies after that were all just crazy monster wrestling things, with like Godzilla and Rodan and Ghidra and Mothra and Anguirus and Hydra and King Caesar and Gigan and all those guys just throwing each other around. So what's the actual tradition here, you know? Like, I mean, there's a reason that people either become fans of the Godzilla movies when they're kids, like I certainly did, or not at all. I mean, I've never heard of anyone suddenly deciding they really liked Japanese stunt actors in puppet suits fighting in miniature cities like in their 40s. Anyway, the 2014 movie really kind of disappointed the hell out of me in retrospect. Skull Island, on the other hand, was good old-fashioned, crazy monster movie fun. Like, at the time, I called it the best movie Doug McClure never made, and I stand by that. And now King of the Monsters is... holy shit, guys, this movie is so goddamn good. It's awesome! It's so awesome! It's so awesome! So awesome! Yeah! I haven't got the words. I just want to make like animal noises or something. It's so f***ing good. Just see it. It doesn't need a review, it just needs to be seen. Yeah! So, in a story set a few years after the events of the 2014 reboot, Godzilla himself has been joined by a handful of other giant-scale prehistoric monsters, the majority of whom are hibernating in secret underground locations being monitored by Monarch. As the film opens, the world's governments are very much of the opinion that they should just blow up all of the giant monsters while they can, because just a couple of them are already pretty damn destructive enough. Monarch, however, is operating under the theory that the creatures, including Godzilla himself, are not simply monsters, but titans, as in the Titans, the original prehistoric gods worshipped by the ancestral proto-civilization all of humanity from the beginning of time itself may have descended from. Therefore, while some of them might be evil, others might be good, and able to help with that, so we might not want to just kill them all. This debate is then complicated by the arrival of a third faction of militant eco-terrorists who believe that the return of the Titans is actually Earth's version of a white blood cell rush being used to get rid of a bad case of humanity infection, and they plan to speed things up by kidnapping Vera Farmiga's Monarch-aligned scientist and forcing her to use her one-of-a-kind Titan dog whistle technology, basically, to wake up the most powerful Titan of all, Monster Zero, aka King Ghidorah, setting off a chain reaction that ultimately draws the attention of Kyle Chandler as Farmiga's estranged husband, a whole crew of Monarch busybodies and soldiers with their own not helicarrier full of toys, literal wingman Titans, Rodan and Mothra, and of course Godzilla. Lots and lots of Godzilla this time. And if that sounds like a really, really silly setup for a movie, it is, and it's also kind of just the first act of this one, because once that's out of the way and exactly one plot twist, albeit a pretty good one, has been unveiled, Godzilla King of the Monsters gets right down to the business of delivering giant monster spectacle on a scale never before rendered in the most vivid and awe-inspiring detail possible. There isn't a single frame of monster action that doesn't already look ready for a poster print, and the earnestness with which it throws out setups like three-headed dragons annihilating entire cities with lightning bolts, flaming monster birds erupting from volcanoes, Mothra hovering in shafts of light like an insectine angel, or Godzilla charging into battle flanked by a squad of Monarch fighter jets, has all the madcap yet sincere energy of something storyboarded by a literal child, and honestly, that's as it should be. I mean, this is the big budget Godzilla movie I used to dream about getting as a kid, and I never thought I actually would. And I almost can't be objective about it. Like, it feels wrong to review this movie with words as an adult. It's too pure for that. This is the kind of movie that can only be properly reviewed by an overstimulated kid smashing dinosaur toys together. And failing the presence of that... It's like Godzilla's all like, and King Ghidorah's all like, and they're like, and they team up with Rodan like, yeah, and then Mothra come in like, and with the tail, and then like maybe He-Man also come in because he's got the power. Yeah, He-Man, yeah. The direction by former low-budget horror auteur Mike Dougherty is absolutely jaw-dropping, a career transition of the type on par with Sam Raimi and Peter Jackson's similar jumps into the blockbuster A-list at the turn of the century with Spider-Man and Lord of the Rings, and his screenplay with Zach Shields hits the perfect balance of big, ridiculous pulp sci-fi nonsense and epic clash of God's power that the material demands. The performances are very good, with Watanabe once again being the standout with all the weighty gravitas scenes, and Ziyi Zhang does really interesting work as a role that feels set up for future sequels and also kind of a walking Easter egg for hardcore Godzilla fans. Kyle Chandler is about the ideal guy for this kind of regular dude audience POV role, and Millie Bobby Brown shines as Ian Farmiga's daughter in a key role. Now, are there more details and technical nuance I could delve into? I mean, sure, yeah, it's really quite a spectacularly well-made film, and in the written version of this, I imagine I will, but what no academic analysis can properly convey is that Godzilla King of the Monsters is a transcendent, elevating, purely cinematic experience. It's the Avengers of giant monster movies, a perfect distillation of just why this entire genre exists in the first place and why we go to the movies. So yeah, I say with complete sincerity, I'm giving this one 10 out of 10. Long live the king.